Money FM 89.3, the best of the afternoon update. The afternoon update with Lynlee Fu.
Money FM 89.3. Happy Friday and welcome to Industry Insight, where we wrap up your week with perspectives from the world of business and innovation. I'm your host, Lynlee, and today we're zeroing in on the hospitality industry, a sector that's seeing powerful shifts in how people travel, live, and work across borders. Joining me is someone who knows this space better than most, Mr. Ngor Houai, Chief Operating Officer for Europe, Middle East, Africa, South Asia, and China at the Ascott Limited. Ascott is one of the leading players in the global lodging industry and a key business arm of CapitaLand Investment. Ngor Houai, thanks for spending your Friday with us.
Hi, Lynlee. My pleasure.
Now, I know there are some significant developments at the Ascott, but before we get into that, the hospitality world has gone through an extraordinary transformation over the past 5 years, from pandemic shocks to a reimagined traveler experience. What would you say are the top trends shaping the industry right now?
Since the COVID pandemic, we have seen quite some change in the behavior of our traveling guests. Mainly, we can see today that the guests are gathering leisure and business travel. So we call it bleisure, right? Mm-hmm. And then, therefore, we can actually notice that the people are traveling also bringing with them the family. So we can see actually multi-generational travelers, bringing families, parents, and most important point, I think, and this one you'll probably hear about it from other players as well, is the change from the travelers to look for immersive experiences rather than just a product.
Okay. Of course, there's digital transformation as well in the mix.
Oh, yeah. That's really a drastic change in terms of school systems in order to enhance guest experience, pre-arrival experience, and also during the stay. For instance, if we talk about digital transformation for Ascott, right, we are actually integrating AI and new technologies. When I talk about new technologies, IoT devices into our programs, into our products. As part of our tech-forward hospitality approach, Ascott has launched a kind of, generative AI-powered web chatbot, actually named after Ascott mascot, right? Kirby.
Oh.
So this is actually helping our guests with tailored recommendation and predictive insights to ease and smooth their booking journey. We also introduced IoT devices such as in-room sensors to support our ESG commitment and without compromising our guest experiences.
Okay. And as you mentioned earlier, there's this trend called bleisure, with many professionals now blending work and travel, right? Or even choosing extended stays abroad. So how has this shaped how Ascott designs and delivers guest experiences?
Okay. We need to look at the things from two different angles. The first one is for our guests, right? And the second one is for our owners, investors. Actually, if we look at our guests, we have a full range of brands, flex hybrid brands and multi-typology brands, right, which actually cater with all those different travel purposes that we just mentioned, in terms of length of stay, in terms of experiences seeking. So actually, our products can pivot and can cope with short stay, long stay. And we have a brand on resort type, we have brand on hotel, we have also limited services and extended stay. And in terms of change also, we have introduced, you probably heard about our ASR program, right? Ascott Star Reward program. This is I would call it still young ASR, young loyalty program, but already close to 6 million members. And we have noticed a strong evidence on the loyalty, right? 90% of our direct web and direct app booking comes through this program now, and definitely strong with our members spending 55% more than non-members. All those brings in, the program brings in not only points, but we are actually offering experiences, because I talk about the evolving needs of our guests, but our loyalty program also offers very unique or exceptional events, experiences to our members, such as Wimbledon tennis games, Roland Garros in French Open Games this year, and the F1 in Singapore experiences.
Wow. Ngor Houai, we live in very turbulent times, and amid global uncertainty, Ascott has recently announced plans to double its India portfolio to 12,000 units by 2028, up from 5,500. That's a bold move. So what's driving this ambitious growth?
Yeah, that's ambitious. We are living in a complex, but I think this is not the first time. I believe that we've been through cycles, we've been through a crisis, but definitely the lodging or the travel hospitality sector have demonstrated some resilience, right? So actually coming back to India, I can see that the country has a very, very favorable context for hospitality growth. When we look at it, it's today having a robust GDP growth, right? Mm-hmm. We see a growing middle class with rising disposable income. I have been in India. I was in India 2 weeks ago for HICSA, and I saw the expanding infrastructure and fast urbanization, which actually helps connect new domestic destinations, right? Mm-hmm. Two more points to add for India, which fuel this growth, is that India is today, the population of India is more than 1.4 billion, and the median age of this population is only about 27 years old. And the last point I think is interesting. I saw some numbers, very interesting numbers, is that the supply is still pretty limited in India. When I compare, today India is probably 7,000 hotels, 450,000 keys in India for 1.4 billion population, right? And if I look at the US as a comparison, US is 350 million population and has probably more than 5 million keys. So this is 10 times more in terms of keys and probably 4 or 5 times less in terms of population. Wow. So you see, I would say that all the drivers are there actually to help and to fuel the growth in terms of travel and hospitality.
Those are quite phenomenal numbers. Can you give us a sense of which Indian cities or regions Ascott is focusing on and what types of properties guests can expect?
Yeah, today actually our current footprint in India is about 6,000 keys. We have a very good momentum since early this year in terms of signing because we signed already 600 keys. 3 projects. The latest one was signed in Goa, and we had a very exciting one in Lucknow, which is Tier 1 cities, northeast, closer to Nepal border. And this Lucknow is actually very interesting because we will have Oakwood property there inside a cricket stadium, which can actually have 50,000 seats. So, and the last one is we have signed in Tanjore, also an Oakwood property in Tanjore. Tanjore is more on the southeast part under Chennai. So, altogether, we're probably having 6,000 keys now, with operating properties mainly located in metro Tier 1 cities such as Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, or Pune. And our growth strategy is really to have two main focus. One is on the geographical one, because I mentioned about all this expansion, infrastructure, and we see that we want to strengthen our presence in those metro Tier 1 cities, but we are also now looking and hunting, setting flags in growing Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, like the one I mentioned, Goa, Lucknow, Tanjore, or even Gurgaon, right? Mm-hmm. And the second point is to expand our brand. I think today we have 3 brands present in India, Somerset, Oakwood, and Citadines. Mm-hmm. There are definitely headrooms for us to come with some brands which are very, very suitable for the India market, like our experience-led social living brand, the Life one, the Life LYF brand, and some collection brands like the Unlimited Collection and Crest Collection.
Okay, Ngor Houai, your portfolio, I understand, spans across very diverse markets from Europe to Africa and South Asia to China. You were mentioning to me earlier that you are actually based in Paris. So what are some of the biggest challenges in managing such a wide-ranging operation? I'm just curious.
Okay. Oh, that's an interesting question. I think my wife is asking me the same question. So I think the first one is, I believe that challenges are usually very common in all those different countries, but mainly common is how to retain our staff, how to train our staff, and how to get the best talents in the company. Why? Because I think that when we talk about hospitality, we are talking about guest experiences. And guest experiences means how our staff deliver this on the ground, and they need very specific trainings to be able to do it. For me, guest experiences, guest-centrics comes from our staff, and this is where we are focusing a lot. And this is commonly, I would say, a challenge in the hospitality sector. Beside this, I would say that the challenge is to be used to sleep very little because of the
time zones. Yes.
But considering the excitement and all the news, the good news, and the development we can see within Ascott regarding brands, regarding our model, evolving model, coming from SR to now multi-typology brands, and also our flex hybrid model. I mean, the excitement goes over the challenges, and that's actually pretty great.
Okay, we're running out of time, but for our PMEB audience, many of whom are decision makers and investors, what's one piece of advice you'd give when thinking about hospitality as a business or opportunity?
I mean, actually, since COVID pandemic and the evolving needs of the travelers, we have seen a very, very strong focus or attention from the market, from the investors, for extended stay and even more for the flex hybrid design, which has demonstrated very, very strong resilience. I think for owners and investors, and this is why I was mentioning about the guest part, the guest focus earlier, but we also try to balance for our owners, investors, by having a very strong value proposition. We are trying to have a very efficient product design in order to maximize the revenue opportunities, how to generate the most revenue per square meter, having a faster market adoption. And obviously, on our side, I mean, with our model, we have demonstrated resilience. So those are the key drivers for the investors. And I would be very happy, to engage with investors and to talk about more our growth, our products, if needed,
Okay, Ngor Houai, before we let you go, before we let you slide into the weekend, let's wrap things up with a few quick-fire questions to end on a lighter note. One city you're most excited about right now?
Mumbai is very, 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 very good.
Okay, one hospitality trend here to stay?
I would say lifestyle.
And a leadership lesson that stuck with you throughout your career?
Okay, lead by example.
Okay, perfect way to round off the week. Thank you so much, Ngor Houai. Thank you again for your insights and for joining us on this Friday edition of Industry Insight. Ngor Houai, Chief Operating Officer for Europe, Middle East, Africa, South Asia and China at the Ascott Limited. Ascott is, of course, one of the leading players in the global lodging industry and a key business arm of CapitaLand Investment. Thank you very much.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.